pictures. Can you see Silbury Hill here? This is one of the oldest pyramids on the planet. It is a conical pyramid. And it is near Stonehenge and Avery. Now, I'm working with the Knights Templar. And in 1996, the Templars asked the man named Duncan King to call me up, Duncan Davis, and he said he wanted to make a video about what we did. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, there weren't any crop circles appearing in England in the first part of 2006. That is because our dear government learned how to use interdimensional weaponry to block the spin of the crop circle makers. And it was necessary for me and the Templars to go back to England and re-engineer the grid to the old time so that the crop circles would appear again. Now, you have these two lovely cone pyramids. One is called Silbury Hill, and the other one is called Merlin's Mound in Marlborough. So, and interestingly enough, the crop circle that appeared on May 3rd, or May 31st this year was right next to Silbury Hill. Now, Silbury Hill is a condenser, and as is Merlin's Mound. So you get the energy going this way, back and forth. And what happens? You build the energy upon the whole plane of Silbury, which is chalk. And now if you go back in time and build that energy through the chalk, you create a mirror. And what happens when you use an interdimensional weapon and point a mirror at it? It destroys it. So this is what I was guided to do in 2006. The Templars send me all over and I have different jobs. And this was the job I had in 2006. And when I went to the ASD in 2006 and I talked about this, and then we went out to the labyrinth and we created the Holy Grail Vortex for the first time in maybe it was like the first part of June, maybe the second week in June. There were 3 crop circles that appeared that night. Was that a coincidence? Or was that being able to be a grid keeper? And that's what you people are here to learn how to do this weekend. To learn how to develop the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and to use the Holy Grail Vortex and to put love into the grid, activate the stargates, and bring peace to this planet. That is what we're here to do this weekend. You want to show the next picture? You really can't see that one, right? Show the next picture. This is a crop circle in Italy. It also appeared on May 31st. The reason why I went to the computer to look up crop circles about the 3rd of June was I was watching NBC News and they were talking about the great hope of healing the planet and stopping the spill, and there was a rainbow that appeared over it. And I said, does that mean that I have permission to work on the wellhead? And I got a resounding yes. Anybody that knows, works with spirit, you have to have permission. And secondly, you have to say with no harm to anyone. So I had these 2 crop circles to work with. And of course I was going to the ASD and I thought, wow, this is a good opportunity for me to actually teach all these dowsers how to use the Holy Grail Vortex and really start becoming grid masters. If you look at that, this is like the flower of life. Where the top is, you have a triangle. You use the 3 petals. The bottom, you use those 3 petals. You make it a propeller. You make a Merkaba. You spin one propeller clockwise, one propeller counterclockwise. That makes a motor. You lay these flowers all over the Gulf of Mexico and now spin them so that it takes the oil back to the cup that you've made over the wellhead. Does that make sense to you people? Is this my creation? No. This is what the whales and the dolphins asked me to do. Okay? But you just don't go out and start saying, oh, we can heal it. We can only heal it when 2% of this planet decides they want to heal it. Okay? And that's why we have these conferences, because it is important for us to learn to become the grid healers. And you have knowledge to do that, right? Is this so hard that any of you can't do this?
We can do it, Mary.
I know we can. I know we can. And one way to do it, which I'm lax in, is to get up the first thing in the morning, walk out to the swing, look over the lake, listen to the birds, and listen to what you need to do. Then get up, create the Holy Grail Vortex, and do the work that you need to do for that day. That is my assignment. Okay? And it's not hard. Now, Chad, you want to stand up? When it gets dark enough, we're going to have Chad show us the stargates in all the cities, right? Is that what you're going to show us? And with the Holy Grail Vortex, and with Sean singing up here, can we put love into that stargate and really make them shine tonight? Yeah, that's what we're planning on doing. So that's why we're here. You want to show the first slide of our Holy Grail Vortex? It's nice to have technicians. I don't use the computer very well. This is the Holy Grail Vortex. And of course, you know, you got it there? Of course, the main control panel for the whole grid system is Stonehenge. Okay? You want to show the next slide? You probably won't be able to see this. Peter Shampoo has been here for the last 4 years. Well, that's a slide that shows the connection between New Saqqara and Old Saqqara. Let's show the next one. Okay, this is an important slide. Okay, can you see the Great Lakes? You know, when you go and talk to people and you say, hey, we built a pyramid in 1975, and when we built it, we shut down the Bermuda Triangle. People go, oh, you did? Prove it to us. Well, fortunately, through Peter Shampoo's maps, we actually can bring you an understanding of how that works. And that's what I was trying to show you tonight. The first slide showed you the connection between Old Saqqara and New Saqqara. They're on the same parallel line, okay? And they tie up to CERN and to the pyramids in Paris and all of these other things, but you can't really see that because it's not dark enough yet. The second reason why we built this pyramid was in 1975, the U.S. government was going to put up in the Upper Peninsula an Air Force base called Sawyer Air Force Base. It was really an attempt through ELF to build one of the largest mind control devices on the planet. The antenna system that worked off that ELF system was the CN Tower working on the Atlantic Ocean and Seattle's and they always make an amusement park. The Seattle Space Needle, that was an amusement park. That's how they built it, working on the Pacific Ocean to control the waters. How could they control the waters? You have a big copper field in the Upper Peninsula, and they activated those copper ley lines so that they could pulse the whole Earth and change the frequency. You are electrical in nature, and standing on Mother Earth's grid, they could change the frequency with you, and they could bring you fear or they could bring you love, depending on what they wanted to do. So you see how that could happen. You know, our pyramid pulses at almost 52 degrees, which pulses at the heart chakra. So therefore, when we put up our pyramid, we actually built into the grid a stabilizer for the heart. So the glia brain, which we have talked about here through Gandalf's work, could not be interfered through the heart chakra. We have two brains, and we can go into that some other time. But we have the brain that covers the lining of all the nerves and is an antenna system that takes us into multidimensionals and works through the heart chakra. When we are born into this earth, we start to breathe, we activate the neural brain, which really works on the third dimension. Yogis, when they go back where they can perform, where they can be buried alive or work, they activate the neural brain. At that point, they can transcend time, space, energy, and matter. So that's what we're really doing with these exercises. Does that make sense to you people? So that's what we have to learn to do. But Peter, actually through his maps and gridding, actually can kind of help people understand what we really have here in an antenna system. And Peter couldn't come this time. He had other engagements. So that's why we got Chad. And he's going to show us some of the same things. Okay, can you kind of see how Mother Earth breathes through the Great Lakes? And this way we're in control of the breath of the earth and the water systems of the earth. Is it important for us to do an opening ceremony like we did tonight? Because that's what we're all about. And we have Sean here to sing, I Choose Love. You want to show the next slide? I don't know what it is, but can you see it? Next slide. Okay, when I go away, I try to show people pyramids. This is my son's pyramid. We built this last year. You want to show the next slide? And of course, that's our pyramid we built. Next slide. And that's an obelisk. Can you people see the design in there, the sword and the cup? That's the sword. And this is, the pyramid is a womb. And you have they create high and low pressures. And when you have a high and low pressure in the weather, the high pressure spills over into the low and the low pressure goes up into the high. And that's how energy moves across the earth. We do the same thing with the grid. The next picture. This is an important picture. This is the schematic that shows the relationship of my son's pyramid to our pyramid. Okay? And of course, it runs right down the Kalamazoo River at the dam site, which is a very spiritual Indian river.